keep forgetting that my little box opener right here. So I'm gonna have to go grab my box opener real quick. But today is going to be every, listen to me, it's gonna be every one of the X-Men Target exclusive Blacklight Funko Pops made to date. So this would have been a hunt video, but everybody here knows that Target at some point told me that I couldn't film inside of Target because of, I don't even know why, to be totally honest with you. They said something about the safety of their customers. I really think that it had a whole lot to do with the mask mandates, and they didn't want you catching their customers, their employees without masks on and all of that stuff. It had nothing at all, I'm convinced nothing at all, because I would want somebody filming for the safety of my customers versus like not catching my employees wearing a mask is where I'm totally convinced that was going, right? But these are some pretty fire like Blacklight Funko Pops, and we know that Target seems to have like the market when it comes to these Blacklight Pops, right? I mean, they tend to hold this down when it comes right down to it. Now, Hot Topic had some of them at some point, but they weren't nearly as cool as the ones that you're getting at Target at this moment. This is all of the X-Men Funko Pop Blacklight Target exclusives that they had. I even managed to pick up the shirt, even though the huge debacle that everybody here I know has went under with their huge debacle and the way things went down, and you could only get this pop on this day, even though they were all supposed to release it the same day. And the funny thing about this guy is I actually went and picked him up like a week later, maybe even 2 weeks later. They had him sitting below the counter in the box, the whole box entirely full, none of them taken out. They didn't even really have it opened. It's almost as if they were trying to keep them for themselves. If I had to speculate, look, I'm not going to speculate, but if I had to speculate, that's kind of what it looks like was going on. Magneto is $7.99 out of the group. They show the 4 of these guys on the back of this box, which means they are not considering Wolverine to be a common, even though I still think maybe he's a common, maybe he's not a common. I don't know. If they're exclusives, are they considered commons? Or you throw a comment down there and tell me what you think. If they're exclusives, are they considered commons? I have really gotten into the Blacklight Pops lately. I'm so into the Blacklight Pops that I'm super excited to see the Alice in Wonderland Pops when they come out. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be able to get them because they're going to be a Funko Shop exclusive, and we all know how the Funko Shop exclusives have been going lately. They're so random. They might be at 11:30, they might be at 12:30. They haven't been at 12. They might be on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They might not. It's been super random. I'm kind of starting to think that maybe they're trying to look out for us collectors, and they're trying to keep it as random as possible to keep the people from, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate any further into that. Magneto. So if you keep up with comics and all of that good stuff, you'll know that Magneto was Wanda's stepdad at some point through the whole Marvel universe. That's kind of the reason why Magneto resonates so well with me. I really like this Magneto. Now this is just going to be a recycled mold that they just pulled back in, and I don't know how old this one is in the recycledness, but he does still kind of have this really big awkward Funko body, so that tells me that this might predate the 2000s maybe. Look, don't hold me to that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking with the body because of the way the body is stanced and all of that stuff. These Blacklight Pops never cease to amaze me. I mean, they are just really fire. Let's take a closer look at this guy. So even in the Blacklight, when you're starting to see the paint job and the detail that goes into making these Blacklight Pops, and just the way that they get the blacks in there and the oranges and the yellows and the purples, and for some reason that pink is fire under the Blacklight. I mean, it is just insane. I don't really see a whole lot that I can talk about that's wrong with this pop. I really like what they did with his cape, though. The fact that they have the buttons up top and then the black lines going through the cape. I think maybe they should start doing that with all of their capes, even if it's not a Blacklight Pop. They should try and put some paint detail into it like they did with this one. I mean, just a great job with this pop, and even the black under the hands. I mean, just phenomenal job. That's paint job that's going into these Blacklight Pops that that I would really like to see carry over into the future. Now, some of these I didn't really have to have. I mean, some of these were kind of like on that, well, do I really need them? Do I not need them? But I was there. They had them. They were allowing me to buy them. I already have all of the other Target black light pops, so I thought, why not add this to my Target, is what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this my Target black light Funko Pop collection, right? And at some point, I'll just do a massive video on all of my black light pops all at one time. That way that y'all get to check them out. And the Rogue is going to be number 800. All of these boxes are kind of the same. They got the Target sticker on there. I mean, I like this Target sticker. Just recently I managed to pick up Bullseye, you know, and Bullseye is basically the Target logo. They're still showing the 4 of these guys on the back of this box. All of these boxes are pretty much the same. They kind of kept all of these boxes the same from the very beginning. Rogue was one of them that, looking at her online, it was one of them that I didn't necessarily feel like I had to have. It was one of them that I didn't feel like, if I missed Rogue, would I be like horribly upset? And this was one of them that I thought, well, if I missed her, it just wouldn't, I wouldn't cry over missing her. And the funny part is, even getting her out of the box, I kind of feel the same way. And one of the things that's going to make me feel that way right off the jump is the fact that it came with this stupid stand. I mean, these stands are just stupid. Y'all know how I feel about these stands. They gave her this itty bitty body and just this monstrous, let's take a closer look at her. They gave her this monstrous head and this stupid little body that doesn't make much sense. I mean, I think that maybe they were trying to stay into the feminine small side, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the paint that went into it is also, it's kind of sloppy in the body, but it's because it's so small. When you start getting that small, it starts getting really hard to try and pack detail in there. They managed to pack some of it in there, but you can't even really see it that well. You really just kind of have this, and I'm just going to say it is Donald Trump orange face that they have going on with very little like attention to detail in the hair. I wish that they would have done some detail in the hair, a lot like what you've seen in the Magneto's cape, right? I mean, that would have totally changed the game when it came down to this one, right? I mean, that would have changed the game in a different kind of way. Now, I'm going to move on to Deadpool. Everybody here knows how I feel about Deadpool. Deadpool is something serious to me. Now, he is number 801 out of the group. I'm kind of confused, like on the black light pops, while they started like in the Marvel, or they didn't even, I don't know exactly what series they started in, because it just says pop up there. I mean, so it just started in the pop line. He's number 108 out of the group. I don't really understand why they didn't just start their own line of black light pops, and then this would have probably been 7 or 8 or 9 or maybe even 10 out of the group, but it wouldn't have been that high. His box is just like the rest of them, though. When it comes to these boxes, they keep them exactly the same. There's not a whole lot of difference other than the person that they're putting on the box is the change that you are seeing. I mean, that is where the change is going on, is in the color, in the person that they put on there. This Deadpool I've already gotten out of the box once, so I'm kind of excited to get him out of the box again, if we're being completely honest. Look, everybody here knows that I've got a slight obsession when it comes to Deadpool, and I'm probably a little biased when it comes to Deadpool. This mold looks like it's a little newer than the Magneto mold, and like I was saying, a lot of that has to do with the stance of the body, right? I mean, so when you look at the body, you can almost tell what the date is of the mold, whether it's early 2000s, whether it's 2010. No matter where you're looking at the dates of these guys, you can kind of see in the body structure is what tends to give that away. Now, the head's very early on, and Funko gave that away, but I mean, it was very early on, and then they started changing. I'll do a video on that one day. Let's check this guy out. This Deadpool in this pink is fire. They managed to get the detail in the face, the eyebrow. I mean, everything they did with him, they did really well, and you can tell it was very purpose-based, right? I mean, everything they did with a plan, and they were thinking about what they were doing. I wish that they would have put his swords actually in the sheath, so we don't have the swords in the sheath. He is holding the gun, though, so you don't see him a whole lot in his poses holding his gun. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's called something. I want to say that it's the burrito or Something to that effect, right? This one is done really well. They did a great job with him. I can't talk a whole lot. I mean, even in his front chest, they managed to pack in some extra detail in that little center strap logo, belt holder, whatever it is we're calling that. I mean, they managed to pack detail in him everywhere. Really good job on Funko's part when it comes down to this Deadpool. Gambit right here is an extremely recycled mold. I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th time that we've seen Gambit. He is number 8. No, I said 8. Did you hear me? He's number 798 out of the group. Same as the rest of them, guys. I mean, nothing has changed in the box of this one. I kind of appreciate the fact that they're not changing these boxes a whole lot, that they're keeping them pretty, like, unified in what they're doing. I mean, you'll have to throw a comment down below and tell me if you think maybe they should be changing these boxes every time. I don't necessarily believe that they should change them every single time. Now, like I said a second ago, this Gambit is recycled. We've seen this Gambit 3 or 4 times already. We've seen him in the zombie, we've seen him in the glow, we've seen him in the common. We have seen this Gambit 3 or 4 times already. This is the first time, though, that I am taking a closer look at this Gambit with the whole, like, cards coming out and the way he has this action going on. Funko does a really good job sometimes in the poses and the way that they interpret the character to you and me, right? I mean, so a lot of times they do a great job with some of these guys. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to stand on his own. He does feel really like back top heavy, which is kind of strange. Once again, though, let's take a closer look at this one. So even once again, in the back of his shirt, they packed in detail, or I don't know if you would call this a trench coat or exactly what you would call the back of his shirt, but they packed in extraordinary detail into the coat that I wish we would see come from them a lot more. I mean, because just those little touches to detail make a monstrous difference when it comes to the way you view things, right? His face has a lot of black in it, but Gambit has the whole thing going on. We all know that he has this half mask thing or wrestling thing going on to his face anyway, so that's just to be expected. They packed in a lot of yellow into his face with a little bit of orange accents, which is the exact same thing that I believe they should have done with Rogue. They should have changed. Look, they should have took out the Orange Man Trump look and changed it over to this direction. But I know that if you looked at them all like that it would get kind of old and stagnant. The way that they have the cards inside of this translucent, like, almost, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this smoke or gel or it's part of that comic book that gives you that extra theatrical look, right? But they put the cards inside of that, and I think that was hands down extraordinary on Funko's part to get that packed in there. I mean, even the card that he is holding is the Ace of Spades. I mean, extraordinary what they've done with these pops. I left the absolute best for last. I have been sitting on this and waiting because I truly wanted to get this shirt out with you. I wanted you to check this out with me. I know that the front of it is going to have this really awesome print on it. The box is not just like the Spider-Man box. The Spider-Man box did not have a window for you to physically see the pop. So they did change this box a little versus the Spider-Man, but that's only to be expected, right? I mean, you went from Spider-Man to Marvel. I mean, so it's still Marvel, but you went from Spider-Man to X-Men, right? I mean, so it's to be expected that you're going to see a difference in the box. Let's take a closer look at this box. I am extremely happy with the box. I mean, the box on this guy is fire, and let's get him out of the box. I know that's why we're all here, right? That's why we're here. We want to see these guys taken out of the box, and look, this is truly one of my favorite things to do. I really enjoy getting this stuff out of the box with you so that we can sit down and take a closer look at it. And guys, I just truly appreciate all the love and support that y'all have shown me over the years. I mean, this is going on my 2nd year in YouTube. Look, truly appreciate you for sticking around to check this out. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, you should probably take a second and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Look, it won't hurt you at all to hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, look, you could do me a really huge favor while you're there and hit that thumbs up over there to just help me out a little bit with the algorithm. I'm going to get him out of the box, and then we'll get the pop out of the box, and then we'll take a look at this t-shirt. I really want to see the t-shirt. I'm hoping that there's something printed on the back of it. I mean, but there's no guarantee that there's going to be anything printed on the back of it. It might just be on the front. His box, you know, they don't show him on the back of the box, and that's what I was saying a second ago. He is not being shown on the back of the box. Now, I believe that this is the exact same Wolverine from their 80th anniversary Wolverine. I am pretty sure that this is the exact same one. This is a really, look, I'm excited to see this one. Now, I know that he's going to be kind of small. I recently learned that Wolverine was a kind of small guy anyways. I want to say that he's either 5'2" or 5'5", but he's like 300 pounds. So in today's standards, Wolverine would be overweight. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, in today's standards, Wolverine would be overweight, but y'all all know how that goes. So it's a comic book. We're not going to read too far into that, but he is going to be smaller than everybody else. And what I mean by smaller is you can see him next to Magneto, even beside Deadpool, he's going to be a little littler, and Gambit, the same thing. This one is done really well. Now, I think that they leaned too hard into that orange again, right on his face. And we're going to have to take a closer look at him in the black light to really tell. Let's take a closer look at him. So, in the black light, it looks a lot better than it does just looking at them outside of the black light. I mean, we know that they were designed for the black light, right? I mean, so it makes no, like, you know that it's going to look better under the black light than it looks in person. I don't really like, they did the same thing with Wolverine that they did with Rogue. The body is a translucent paint, not a translucent paint, so the body is a translucent plastic that was already yellow, so they just used a clear yellow plastic to make his body instead of making it a solid piece and then painting over the top. That's not what they did. They did it in a clear piece and then painted over the top, and to me it just doesn't look right. It does something that just looks a little funky, in my opinion. Now, this is one of those things that's very opinion based. You might think that looks really, really badass. I'm not feeling the translucent plastic. I wish that they would have done a hard yellow plastic that wasn't so translucent, but I'm still super excited to have this one in my collection. They did a great job getting all of this paint in. I wish Funko, when they were doing their normal pops, they would put as much paint and detail and just attention to their work into their every pop as they do into the black light pops. This t-shirt, I've been waiting to get this t-shirt out of the box. I'm going to wear this t-shirt on one of my next lives, and I'll have to like throw this whole like black light up to make sure that this thing's really glowing on the live. I mean, because the t-shirt was the reason why I picked this guy up. I mean, that was the reason why I went after him. So let's see if we can get a better look at this t-shirt. There is nothing on the back of this t-shirt. I'm a little disappointed at the fact that they didn't put anything on the back of the t-shirt. I really wish that they would have, but they did. Look, it's another one that they did an extraordinary job. I love the way that they have the whole black light rainbow thing going on. Just a really cool job, and I'm going to get lots of wear out of this t-shirt coming up into the near future. If you're still here at this point, the universe is trying to tell you that you should have already hit that subscribe button. And before we get out of here, let me say that I truly, truly appreciate you sticking around to watch my videos. And hey, look, don't forget, there is no Wayneko crew without you. I truly appreciate you for watching, and see you next time. Now that I've managed to get this in my hands, so this would have been a hunt video, but everyone here knows that